Somebody call a doctor because Bad Medicine is back. Over there is Diamond Dave Damone. This is the Appleton Oak. That's the answer. I'm Mason Quinn. Folks, I can't believe we're here, but here we are. Peaky Blinders, Season 5, Episode 1. This one's called Black Tuesday. I have no idea what to expect because honestly, if the series would have ended at Season 4 with that finale, I could have been fine with it. So who knows what's going to happen now that Tommy's in the government.
I know, it was such a great ender, but hey, we're right back in the thick of things, and I'm ready, willing, and able to go further deep down the hole with the Peaky Blinders.
Oh, I thought you were going to stretch that a little more.
Yeah, it
Started off hot. And
that was like a nice mozzarella stick.
Are we going to run with that one? All right. Hey, look, Season 4, absolutely insane. Adrian Brody brought the heat, made for an incredible ride. Can't wait to see what we get for Season 5.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Season 5 is going to bring us after these first 4 seasons. Season 4 being pretty impactful, seeing that we lost a Peaky Blinder. We're here for Season 5. Let's go! Expectations are kind of high for this, not to be just middle road.
Because, I mean, 1 was great, and then they somehow did better in Season 2, and better in 3,
Give us a
and
year.
better in 4.
1929.
Oh, boy. You know what time that is?
right back in it.
The Depression time.
Yep.
The one thing that has color.
Licky Hill.
There it is.
What a shot. Just riding on a horse out to a telephone booth in the middle of nowhere.
Be at this moment in this time for a phone call.
All the old villains have been vanquished.
Have they, though?
For now.
Have they?
What's the multiverse? They all come back.
They'll steal your shrinking soul, but there won't be a...
No, we got a Harvey Two-Face going on, eh?
He's a god.
Scarecrow and Harvey work well together.
I guess so.
Say they haven't even heard of us. Tell Aberama and Isaiah to introduce themselves.
Oh, Aberama.
You stay out of it.
Mr. Gold.
There he is.
See, you guys were
himself a haircut.
You guys were worried about Mr. Gold. I knew he was on the
Wow.
up and up the whole time.
He's a Peaky now.
Looks pretty much so well. You know, Paul accepted him in with open arms, Dave, and so should you.
Let's not go too far saying he's on the up and up.
Oh, don't
We still need to see some actions that prove that, Mason.
Wow, that's a broad term, on the up and up.
Right now, Bonnie's probably the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yep. Tommy Shelby trusts him, so I trust him.
You're the heavyweight champion.
Well,
How many divisions do you think they got him fighting up?
What is going on here? Shelby Company. Oh, we're in Detroit.
Oh, this was Michael.
Michael taking over. Well, I thought he had the New York office, or was it just the U.S. office?
Well, he started in New York, I think, and then...
Well, there's my answer right there. There's Michael.
Hard day at the office.
Scars from the
I remember,
movies.
Put all these lights in here.
No, that cannot be possible.
Uh-oh. Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo. Struggle Jennings.
And Paul.
Well, good for you, Ann Paul.
Now will you please fly me and my winnings back to England?
Oh, she's going for the youngins. Good for you, Ann Paul.
Good for you, Aunt Paul. See, much better options than Mr. Gold.
Well, that was just a
He was just
fleeting thing.
Sugar for me.
Where's that for one?
Look, Ruby. Daddy's back from his call.
Ruby is grown up.
Well, it's been a few years.
What's that hole they're digging for?
Just a little nip in the morning.
Wonder if
Wasn't
that's
that-
morphine.
that's-
Or that.
That's the stuff that Arthur had.
I was going to say it's probably morphine.
We are going all over
Oh
the place.
boy, here we go.
They're taking over.
Oh, I love the way they're shooting that.
Music is awesome.
Things are going real bad in the U.S. today.
Whoa!
Race day. Tokyo in the house.
Best part of waking up. He just said, Finn, stay out of it.
Stay here, stay put. You'll leave from Tommy.
Lost
What
the
are you
lot.
talking about? How is that possible?
She's got the hat.
Aunt Paul.
Wall Street Stock Exchange.
Ah, yep, here we go.
Steve
The
Trade.
depression.
We were most
Good
definitely
call,
on
Oak.
So does this affect this?
Oh, most
Finn
definitely
doing?
their whole business.
Fucked it, yeah.
Anything they had invested in America.
Yeah. I
Gone.
mean, it was a worldwide thing, yeah.
Right, come on, get changed.
Jesus Christ!
Bring the car out.
Take my money.
Uh-oh.
Are we going to lose our guy?
Man, these cut back and forth, man.
Love you. You love me. That's the truth.
Gina, why? Come on.
I want to meet your family.
Oh boy, Gina.
What'd you do?
I don't know about that, Gina.
Okay, watch out. There's going to be.
Well, she does enjoy race day, so they'll get along. Ooh, Finn, you're not supposed to be part of it, Finn.
Yeah. Finn's like, all right, now you go.
And you got
Ooh.
tagged. Oh, Tommy's gonna really be happy about that one.
Well, Tommy told him it's time to grow up.
But he said stay out of it.
Look at Mr. Gold coming through the wall. Still not sure about Mr. Gold, Diamond Dave? I think he just proved himself.
One time
just
does not
saved Finn.
qualify for like, oh, you're good in my book.
He just saved Finn.
Now you've heard of us.
Us.
Oh!
You've heard of us.
Well, yeah, I mean the close.
Not you've heard of the Peaky Blinders. He's in.
Coach, put something down for the blood. My sister will kill me.
Oh, Jesus!
Get me some booze.
Eee.
Oh!
That went through. Oh, I thought it. Never mind.
yeah,
it looked like it went
yeah.
through.
Still in there.
Piggy boy, give me your blade.
Clean enough.
I stuck a bullet from between two ribs, 1 inch from the heart. Mind you, it was a horse. The horse did die.
I was gonna say less
that,
story,
man.
less story time, more getting that bullet out. Oh, Jesus!
Squeezing away on that thing.
Hey.
Just a little one.
What the is going on?
Oh yeah.
Hey, sis.
Get out, both of you.
I thought he was gonna take a bottle.
What has Tommy told you? Shelby's stay out of the sporting stuff.
What's to maintain his reputation?
Oi! You
Oh,
listen to me. He's got power, we've got money, and our past is left behind us. And you've got a precious young life, Finn, you idiot. You've got nothing to prove, Finn. You have got nothing to prove.
Yeah, I suppose he's coming around late in the game, wants to prove himself as a Shelby.
All right, you heard the man. Let's go.
God, we only got 11 episodes left.
Oh, it's like a horse.
Oh, burying a horse.
You heard Johnny talking rocker. He understands more gypsy than we think. You heard him say, you shot the horse. Told him it was mercy. I said, it's what you do when a horse gets sick. Doesn't understand.
Dad, why did you shoot him?
Dolly, get out here now. Let's get it done. Charles, come here. Sit down.
oh, you look dapper.
Now listen to me. Yours was sick. He was in pain.
Oh, it's his horse.
No, it's what you do. Shoot horses, shoot people. Everybody says.
How does he know about the people part?
Everybody says.
Wow.
I mean,
Like, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Who has been speaking like
who's
that? in
been
front of
telling them like, yeah, kids in school. Yeah, they all know, Dad. They all know who the Peaky effing Blinders are.
Dangerous, my beautiful horse. Too wild to
Wrong
race. Should have been a war horse. Couldn't seek the peace and the quiet, gave up on life, and is now free.
Sounds like Tommy.
In the blink.
You crying?
Oh, you didn't want to look it in the eye?
It's wow.
I mean, I knew his passion is horses, but
We didn't know you were a boy, Swole Rocker. Said I did, Johnny.
kayfabe next time. Kayfabe.
I saw Michael on Friday this was going to happen.
In Michael. Said he was advised by the broker that the prices would rebound. Everybody was told the same thing. He held on.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a game changer.
Didn't listen.
That's a game changer. What a shot. Michael held on. Stock crashed and seen the burial.
Yep.
Michael held on and carried on dancing and playing and in the snow.
Oh, boy.
Charlie, come out here now.
Don't take it on a Charlie, Tommy.
What do I have to do to make people listen to me? What do we do now, Tommy?
You call a full meeting with the board of directors tomorrow at noon.
What's wrong with today, Tom?
Need to do some thinking.
Oh, you do that best on your own, did you, eh?
And Arthur, tell my boy that sometimes death is a kindness.
Jeez. Oh, finally snapped.
Whoa.
What do I have to do to make people listen to me?
Yep.
I can't
Nobody
believe.
knew for a while.
What am I, a genie? You summoned me up with your little bundle of dope.
Who's back?
It's like Ninja Turtles. And the first Turtles with Splinter.
Yeah.
That's what came to mind.
Except for Splinter was still alive.
It's like
Grace isn't.
the middle of Peaky Blinders season 5 premiere. Diamond Dave says it's like the Ninja Turtles.
This scene, summoning.
Our love still remains.
It sure does, Grace. It sure does.
Cowabunga, Grace.
Cowabunga, Grace.
Do what they tell you to do.
Too much to do, Grace. Our kids. I need to say goodbye. I need to sleep. Just think, Tom.
What I mean, what can you really do? I mean,
Oh. There you are, right?
did you see the white spot?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're the chairman, Arthur, so start acting like one.
Tommy made me the chairman so that he could stay clean. I know I am, and I'm all right with it. I need you to be all right with it. What is it, say?
Wow. She is done.
What do you want?
I want you to take the opportunity that God and the New York Stock Exchange has presented to you.
Mr. Shelby, the meeting will be starting soon.
Yeah, all right.
The stock exchange is in the basement. Below the basement. Who's back from Monte
Aunt
Carlo?
Oh, a little bit fancier family meeting quarters. Look, do you see the portrait of Tommy?
Well, they had all the brothers had their pictures.
Oh, I only saw the Tommy one.
And the left and right of it.
Oh, there we go. Lovely.
Okay. Now. Very nice. It was a terrible. It was a terrible disaster. whole thing went up. Well, actually, the whole thing went down, but
You get my point.
the only ones hurt Buy this.
They're all just like waiting for Tommy, I think.
In the papers. It's all over. The knows everyone's talking about.
Shouldn't we just wait for Thomas?
Polly, Arthur's now the chairman of the board.
What have we got?
Establish that ladies are decorative.
We've only just sat down.
Actually, Arthur has some documents that he'd like to hand out.
Yeah?
Oh, jeez.
I was just explaining to everyone, Tom, that we're ain't that right?
It is true that a large proportion of the company's funds were invested in American stocks and shares.
Invested or hidden?
All investments are approved by the board, Linda. Linda, after this meeting, and there will be another meeting for just family.
Jeez, Linda, just simmer for a second.
Arthur.
Arthur, can't you control your wine? We are a very modern company, Mr. Green.
Family.
There is hope.
Why? What have you got in there? A magic wand?
Ah! Expecto Patronum!
Director of the company, I need permission from the chairman to present my strategy to the board.
Permission granted, Tom.
That was an interesting little harmonica they gave us.
Yeah.
All of them now. Okay. Was this the family meeting, or are we just now leaving the boardroom scene here?
I don't know, but Aunt Paul looks as bad as she's ever looked. That's for sure. Oh, there it is. The flying V.
Ladies and gents, keep your drivers around the way, please. Okay, thank you. Back yourselves, guys. Here.
Oh, too late.
Harumph, shaking hands, kissing babies.
Right,
Doctor?
Mr. Shelby. Doctor. Thank you for what you did. Now, he's cut our rent in half.
Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
By the way,
How far can we go, Mr. Shelby, with this beautiful dream?
All the way, brother. All the way.
Revolution, man! They're going to cut my hours.
Yeah, where do you work?
Greenham's engineering.
Green and Brothers. I know them. They're not going to cut your hours.
God bless you. God bless you, guys.
Promises to everybody.
just lip service.
We will all be served a free pint of Stingo. Despite what you're reading in the newspapers, I want to hear singing and laughing. The stock market. Back the wrong horses, so fucking what, eh?
I can't wait until he sits down and goes, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
Can I begin this family meeting with a proposal? From now on, we'll find somewhere else to meet.
Your husband believes that being seen mixing with the common people is good politics.
Oh, he still does the cigarette.
Husband. They got married. Made it official.
Yeah, didn't you see? Tommy had a ring.
Family meeting. First item, this.
Oof.
Uh-oh.
He says they were sent to Limehouse, Chinatown. Sent who?
Sent by me. I told Finn to stay out of it. He obviously didn't listen.
There it is.
No, but nobody listens.
I listen to you when you tell me no more sport for anyone named Shelby. I listen to you
Paul, he's just
when you make
looking
me
around.
promises. What's in Chinatown, Tommy? What's going on?
That kid needs educating, Tommy, really does. World's a better place.
Holy f***. So now your business is improving the world?
Sometimes, Ada, killing is a kindness.
We received intelligence from a senior police officer at Scotland Yard. I've made lots of new friends in London. Work was commissioned by a High Court judge, by Scotland Yard, and by the House of Lords.
It's a particular opportunity. It's not to be repeated.
And it was the right thing to do. Watch.
Good right.
We own the ropes. Who's going to hang us now, eh?
We own the ropes, do we?
Lizzie, if Finn had listened to me, you wouldn't have known. When we go home, I'll explain.
Can't be bothered with this shit.
Other sources of cash income. Because until the stock market recovers, cash is king, and cash we have.
No one is going to hang you, Tommy. You're going to hang yourself.
Cash is always king.
Someone has to pay for them paintings on your wall, Ada.
Yeah, bye-bye, Ada. Am I ever not easy on Ada? Aye?
Thomas, the thing is, Ada.
She's pregnant.
Arthur is crushing it this episode.
Ada's pregnant. We've a lot to do and no one gives a who the father is.
Really? I already know who the father is. But we've had enough shocks for one day.
Oh, damn it.
Bonnie Gold? The boxer?
Okay.
I don't think that would be that big of a shock. I think it's...
What's that funny writing on there? Chinese. What is it? Bad news? Maybe. Angels of retribution. Yeah. Burn the letter they sent. Look at that, Tom.
Is he gonna go nuts about that?
From our brother, eh? Barney took her first bullet. No, listens to me.
Arthur does. He just gives pushback.
Still have me first one.
First one? Jeez.
Come back in. Where are you going, brother?
London.
Well, he's got to go to work, doesn't he?
Yep.
The need for their flexibility and cooperation is paramount in the coming months as we attempt to rebuild this great nation.
Grand Casino in Monte Carlo is a small and timid affair when compared to the wild games of chance being played in London and New York by gamblers in silk gloves and beaver hats. And when they lose their bets, turn around and ask the shoe shine to pay for it.
There you go.
We offer the shoe shines and the...
Who's this guy?
I would suggest that those who so recklessly lost their fortunes on the capitalist lottery learn to shine their own shoes, carry their own can, and pay their own bills.
No bailouts from Thomas Shelby.
Where have we seen him before? Oh, that's gonna
Shelby.
drive me nuts.
Man.
My name's Mosley, by the way, Oswald Mosley.
Oswald Mosley.
Constituency board is yours. And let me just say, you've come to my attention.
Just fabes him.
I have bad news, Mr.
I've got some bad
news for you.
We agreed 50,000 on completion of business. My wife and I have had a misfortune on the London Exchange. There's 20 there.
Yep.
You'll have to wait for the rest.
It's not how I
He's
normally
got the green desk lamp, even back in 29. That desk lamp. He's not real happy about that, is he?
Cavalry, eh? Spent a long time waiting for the cavalry, May.
Oh.
On Monday, you will give me the full £50,000 in cash, or I will steal your white horse from under you.
How did a man like you get into a position of trust?
A man like me, or sucker me. I'm seeing the photographs. One day.
I was just going to say, there you go.
Shelby!
Yeah, you'll remember the name now.
Oh, that's as good as liar.
It's not as good as liar.
Nowhere
but
near.
It was good.
Everything all right?
Isaiah's? No.
He's had 2 meetings with Mr. Sharpurji Sakrat
Now
Lava.
It's Isaiah's.
they're setting us up.
Or wait, no, that's not Isaiah. That's the
that's not
the
Isaiah.
general.
Ben Younger.
Yeah.
He's also had a telephone conversation with Jesse Eden.
Oh.
Didn't know you drank stout, Ada. Thought it was gin.
Times are hard.
I'm pregnant.
Exactly how much did you lose?
Don't worry about it. Tommy has a plan. He thinks that we can turn the collapse of the stock exchange to our advantage. He says, when others retreat, you advance.
Buy low.
So high.
Tell your brother from me, he's doing excellent work. I'm told 2 more military contracts for vehicles and parts for the army in India on there.
Okay.
Still got the contracts.
Gonna tell him? Gonna tell him? Nope, not yet. Wow, they really, we're going in deep so far this season.
He says he was in New York and had dinner with Charlie Chaplin, and Chaplin mentioned your name.
Ah, nice callback.
Mr. Shelby, Mr. Levitt from the London Times.
Have a seat.
Oh, he came in pretty enthusiastically.
Mr. Shelby, do you remember me?
No.
Burning photographs of the king.
London Times, you've done well.
What have you said? To put it mildly, I sent you a list of questions.
Yeah, I misplaced them.
Yeah, well, you have a lot on your plate.
Yes. All I remember is that your questions interested me.
Oh. Good.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Shelby, traditionally in this country, print journalists take no interest in the private lives of politicians.
Private lives?
But in these modern times, especially in America, journalists are beginning to, well, that is to say, wants to know more about the men who represent them.
Of course. In these modern times.
It would have been seen as ungentlemanly to ask a public figure questions about personal matters or business affairs.
No need to worry. I'm no gentleman. Channel their abilities in new directions, discover better methods, aim for happier outcomes, even win awards. For industry, you can write this down, Mr. Levitt.
You like writing things down. Write this down.
But since 1923, I've made my fortune in the manufacture, sale, and export of motor cars.
And lately gin.
And lately 3 new homes for orphan children. Write all this down, Mr. Levitt.
The time that I was there was a Major Campbell.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Now, I recall receiving your letter. And I recall that when I did, I asked a colleague of mine to carry out some research. Just a moment.
Oh, I know who you are, sir.
Here we are.
Let me get my readers on.
I'm old-fashioned. Michael, I believe private lives should remain private. Not everything modern is good now, is it? You're gonna write this down in your little book.
Tommy just bringing the hammer.
Tommy is now the
Not yet.
guy starting everything.
Him knowing or not knowing, there's no relevance to what we're drinking. It's vintage. This is for us. Let's drink to the baby.
Oh, Jesus.
Polly, do you remember when I was last pregnant? You were going to take me to Cardiff. I was going to get rid of it.
What about this time?
Nana.
And the baby's eyes are golden. And you're going to leave her with Aunt Polly every day to look after. Aunt Polly, who insisted that you called her Elizabeth.
How do you know it's her?
Oh,
Because
you
Aunt
know.
Polly Gray.
She always knows.
Where everything will be changed for the better. She'll be the colour of a Hollywood Oscar.
What will Tommy say?
Tommy knows.
Yeah, as she drinks.
Of course.
He's also seen that the world's big and round, and he says, so what?
And why not? Why not?
We're bold people, aren't we, Polly?
That's the beauty.
Well, in fairness, I think the general, once he gets told...
what is this?
Oh,
Oh, boy.
puppy.
Well, Cyril.
Cyril.
You're still talking to me.
Maybe
But
he
does
he might even listen.
I was going to say, but does he listen?
I said sit.
How's everyone?
Your wife is upstairs with Ruby.
Well, Francis. If there were to be a snap election in this house today, I'd win it. Even if I were running against the devil himself.
I gathered. Charles is in the stable.
I love Frances. She's awesome. Oh, look at that shot.
I like that camera work.
Look at the house.
Jesus
Christ. Government pays well these days.
Did Arthur explain?
He said it's God's will, but you're not God.
Damn.
Getting the cold shoulder from Charlie.
Yeah, they're giving us some.
No, I'm not God.
Be a lot easier if you were.
Not yet.
Tommy gonna run for prime minister?
Oh boy, what's gonna happen to Mr. Lott?
Well, as long as he
plays ball.
Plays
Hey, what's
ball,
the voice
yeah.
going on?
Yeah, what's
Heavy
with the heavy breathing?
Oh, shoot. Whoa.
Now, Tommy wouldn't have had them do that, would?
No.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, Tommy had him seemed like he had him under control.
I bet
Is that
he
the
was,
opposition party?
No, it was the people who sent him saying, we want you to run this story about Tommy Shelby.
And he couldn't do it.
And he told them, I'm not running your story. And so they took him out.
Yeah, probably.
Or it could also be.
Well, then there's this shot. I think that was Tommy doing that.
See, I took it as Tommy's point was clear and the guy wasn't going to say anything, but maybe it was Tommy just cleaning up loose ends.
Yeah, well, the way they ended that.
Does Finn Cole play Finn?
What an episode, folks. How excited were you when they came back? Because I have to admit, and I even said it in the beginning, I didn't know what direction we might go, what kind of story were we going to have, where the family was going to be at, but throwing in the Great Depression and the stock market crash is definitely going to make it very interesting. Unfortunately, I'm not that familiar with British politics back in 1929. My knowledge is real limited there as far as what I know. So I do want to go and make sure I'm right with what I'm thinking in terms of the political names, Tories, etc. And as far as like kind of what their political alignments are, because I got a feeling that might be important here going forward with this, just so you kind of know where everybody stands and what they're kind of thinking. I think that'll prove helpful. So I'm going to do that as part of my homework. But this episode, wow, it had...
Expect that essay on Tuesday.
Well, I mean, I think it's important to know the background because like if he's talking about, different political parties, I think we should at least have an idea of like what they would typically stand for. How would they approve, strikes, and how do they, like Tommy said, they're upset that the working man was able to find his way up into the House of Lords and start making some waves, because that one-on-one speech he had with, well, I shouldn't say speech, the one-on-one conversation that Tommy had with the higher up who owed him $50,000 for essentially doing his dirty work. And Tommy knew what he was into, saw the pictures. This guy was going to try to shortchange him, thinking he could get away with it. And he had no idea who he was dealing with. And I love that Tommy let him know exactly who he was dealing with. So that was a fantastic scene. This whole episode had way more comedy than I expected it to have. Arthur was absolutely, in my opinion, he was the MVP of this episode. Arthur, the scenes that he was in, his facial expressions, the little stuff he did, commenting on the cookies in the boardroom. I mean, all these little things that he did was just outstanding. So huge shout out to him. Absolutely crushed in the episode, because we've come to expect a level of performance from Tommy, and we expect Aunt Paul to act the way she does. Although she seems to surprise us every season, she'll throw a little curveball in there and do something different. And in the beginning here, this was no different. She was getting flying lessons from her pilot friend, we'll say. And, so that's a lot of fun with her attitude, the way she does things. We didn't get a lot on Michael this episode other than he knew he was in trouble and that he didn't listen to Tommy. I think we can essentially boil it down to Tommy told him to sell. Look, something bad's going to happen. Sell, get cash. And Michael listened to the brokers who were telling everybody to hold. And, well, we saw how that worked out. Of course, the symbolism with the horse being buried in the ground as Tommy was getting all this news felt like nobody was listening to him despite what he was saying. Not even his own very small or very young son was listening to him and getting out of the carriage when he was telling him to. So just a wild episode. I am so glad that Peaky Blinders is back, and it is back, and it's just 1000% fire. I absolutely loved this episode. It's got me hooked for the whole season already. Like, if you had any doubt after the way season 4 ended, you're like, I could just call that a season. I could be good with it. What could they really do? Well, Stephen Knight, you did it again.
Yeah, what a great way to to start off this season with, just where they were at moments in time. Then we saw the date, and immediately we had ideas of, what's about to happen. And little we know now, let us know in the comments if that it was legit that he said to sell in real life, or if this was just done for the show. But if he said in real life, told Michael, hey, sell, I had something's gonna go wrong, and sure enough it did. And even when his guy came in, Adam, who was talking about Winston Churchill, was in New York when it happened, and he lost 75,000 pounds in 2 hours. So we saw, obviously, it affected the whole world because, a lot of the goods was starting to get traded over then. I mean, Arthur had businesses over there that he was in, but then also was sending gin over there. So he had, with the collapse just in the U.S., we saw that it did spread out throughout the whole world because, obviously, I don't know world history as much as well, but I obviously knew about the Great Depression. I just didn't know how much of a reach it had. But if you think about it, of course it's going to have a big reach because it's a world economy, not just, a local economy. But what I think we're going to start seeing this season, though, is how he ended the episode with Thomas going, "Oh my God, no, not yet." And you see that he wants to get more and more power as he is in government, as he is it just doesn't seem like Tommy Shelby would have ordered that, that hit of Mr. Levitt. He had him, like you guys make the cut that one of these guys said, had him under control. So it seems to me that now Tommy is just trying to get even more and more power than he had it before, but he had at the same time struggling with other things, like when he took down the horse, he was going to maybe self-delete himself just because he saw a lot of himself in that horse. He couldn't keep him reined down. Didn't much like the races. He had a lot of same things, but then him going around with not everybody's listening to me when repeatedly. Paul and him have always had conversations. She's, for the most part, listened. Arthur has always listened, and now he's worried about Charlie not listening, and then obviously Michael. Well, maybe it's because they're a younger regime that they think they may know better. Well, Michael said he listened to the brokers. Don't worry, it'll be all right. Well, saw that it wasn't all right, but yes, this episode definitely, like you said, has got me ready, willing, and able to watch this season 5. So it looks like it's going to be highly entertaining.
Yeah, no, I thought this was a really solid first episode for season 5, and I just realized how Midwest I said that I started off that line with,
don't you?
But look, in any regard, phenomenal writing and acting as we're used to from this entire series. I liked the kind of development with the relationship between Arthur and his wife. She's definitely more bold. She's regular with the race days, it would seem. Arthur still seems conflicted in a lot of things, but not as much as he had the previous few seasons. It feels like he's, settled back into his role at Shelby Limited, and he's all there. His ideas of moving to the States and whatever. I think that's gone. Obviously, we saw at the end of last season that Michael got sent to America, not on the best terms with Tommy. And this certainly isn't going good right now. Of course, there was a time jump, so The fact that he's still with the company means that they must have ironed things out to a certain extent. But not having listened to Tommy and costing the company a significant amount of funds, not a good thing, as Tommy said. Nobody listens to me. We had Finn doing the sporting stuff, as they call it now. No more family members involved in sporting. So, there's that. We have the learning that Ada is pregnant out of wedlock and by a man of color. So in 1929, obviously a much different time than we're in right now. So just kind of brings another interesting dynamic to the series. So look, I thought it was great. The scene with Tommy out by the fire and having, visions of grace was very powerful. All in all, I thought this was a really solid start to the season. I agree with Mason Quinn that having the subject matter of the Depression kind of opens the doors for some, interesting predicaments they could be in from a business standpoint, interesting opportunities. We saw that Tommy, look, he's higher up now, but you find out that it wasn't just his crew he ran with in previous seasons doing the kind of get your hands dirty type stuff. It's just who's ordering the jobs to be done, So the fact that, look, they went real greasy with the fact that the higher up politician, they had pictures of him doing stuff, and given the nature of the person they took out, they made it seem as
they led it in that direction.
Real bad. So I think he's going to get his 50,000 pounds.
Needs to go out like our grandsire, the priest.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been upset if that guy wasn't on the show anymore. But in any regard, and then of course a really powerful, just kind of back and forth, two-person conversation that we've seen so often throughout this series between Tommy and the reporter. For a brief second, I'm like, okay, was it because somebody else wanted a reporter to print dirt on Tommy, and he didn't do it, so they took him out? But then they gave us that little look on Tommy's face right at the very end, which is like, nope. I think now I'm thinking that might have been Tommy. So look, this was a really solid start to season 5 for me. I didn't need them to come out like guns a-blazing. They came out with enough drama, enough of what we're used to from the Peaky Blinders to keep it interesting. They certainly didn't have the pedal to the floor, I wouldn't say, but it wasn't off the gas by any means. So I'm really excited for this season, and definitely a solid start.
Yeah, they were putting a lot of irons in the fire for us.
A lot of story development.
Yeah, I feel like this was the setup for the season of kind of what's to come. We got, I'll kind of bounce all over, like Ben Younger, Colonel Ben Younger. I know Polly said imagine that, he runs away because he's scared. I personally don't feel that's Ben, but granted, we don't have too much on him. But with him being a colonel and seems like a stand-up guy.
Well, Tommy was cool with him too.
Well, and yes, that's one of Tommy's guys.
Yeah.
So he said in whatever episode in season 4. So I believe Ben is going to be there for the baby once he knows that she's pregnant. For a second there, thought it was Isaiah just because of how far back they had the camera. So I was thinking, oh my God, it's Isaiah, and that's what's going to be the problem. It's a Peaky.
Finn's going to be like, dude, my sister.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So that's why I was thinking that. But now that I know it's Ben, I think all is okay as soon as he knows that it's or that he's going to be the father of the baby. So I have no issues there. I think all is going to be well for the baby there.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It's the Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, you know how it goes.
Well, I think it'll be all right.
Smooth.
Could be wrong. Tommy and his family struggle is going to be interesting moving forward. They have made it very clear here that Charlie, almost at that young of an age, wants nothing to do with Tommy. So, kind of going off by what I think is that obviously Tommy's a very busy man, so I can't imagine he's around much. So probably that fact doesn't help. Of course, the stories that Charlie keeps hearing about Tommy, as he mentioned there, not good. And then he also speaks
Raka.
Yeah, right.
So there's that too. So that kid is probably light years ahead of where he probably should be of understanding some stuff. which is not good for Tommy, especially if he wants to bring him up whatever way he has in his mind to be brought up. But I'm sure Tommy is still trying to keep his kids in innocent kid stage, not knowing all this heavy stuff like this. So the struggle with him and his kids, and Lizzie actually, is going to be interesting moving forward. I know Lizzie is having an issue with Tommy not telling him everything. Obviously, there's been a time jump, so obviously some things have been said during that time jump to Lizzie to make Lizzie think that Tommy, well, and she alluded to it too, right, by saying, we said this, blah, 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 you guys know. Either way, I'm real interested too in that dynamic because, again, we've all seen 4 seasons of Tommy not telling shit to anyone in the family, and he keeps things pretty close to the chest. So,
Other than Paul. Yeah. Well, I think Lizzie has a little bit of a leg up there just because she's been in the family for so long. She kind of knows the drill. It's not like, Tommy met a new girl who doesn't know the Peaky Blinders.
I think
Lizzie kind of knows what's up. I think she just wants to be like really?
Included.
After all this, you're still not telling me?
Yeah, included. But, again, in fairness, he doesn't tell Arthur shit either until it's time to know. So I think she just automatically falls into that boat. As we all know, Paulie is going to be the first one he goes to because he's at full strength when Paulie's at full strength. And then the way those two operate, it's almost smooth sailing almost all the time. Linda and Arthur. Wow, is that dynamic picking up now? Because Linda,
couple.
I know we saw that stuff last season with Linda, but I wasn't sure if it was just kind of like a, God damn, my life is stressful right now.
Get through this.
Just got to get through, but maybe that still is the case, and she just keeps ripping through, or she just
not easy to be
loves
married to a Shelby.
Not easy to be married to a Shelby. Well said. And just the way she is trying to help Arthur is what I'm still believing she's trying to help Arthur, but I can't tell yet, and maybe it's just in my face and I'm just not seeing it. I just can't tell yet if Linda is trying to control Arthur to be one way so she can get her way, like Arthur was kind of saying, like, do you want the doorman or do you want the chairman? That kind of dynamic. So I'm interested in seeing how that develops because Arthur looks like he's kind of over the shit, over the kid games here.
Yeah, he's like whatever.
And he's kind of seems like he's fine with his place.
Yeah.
Well, he did say he knows,
so
he's okay with it.
Yeah.
He's come to.
She wants him.
Well, I think Linda just doesn't want Arthur to take the fall when things.
She's
go
very
wrong.
concerned, and I'm not saying she's trying to.
That's really the main concern.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's trying to control him in like a bad way. I still think she wants Arthur to be okay and what's best for Arthur.
He's like, if you're going to be the chairman, be the chairman, not just be the guy who's going to swing at the end when it all goes wrong.
Yeah, and again, she's very valid in that point too. Like, hey, you're set up right now to take the fall. Very valid from Linda because I wouldn't want to see Arthur take the fall either.
No.
But I feel like there's that unwritten conversation rule between Tommy and Arthur. Like, hey, if I'm putting you here, just know I'm going to get you out. Like, I feel like that's the unspoken truth between those two.
Well,
that's why Arthur does what he does.
Yeah, and like Tommy said, we're above the rules now.
For now, is my guess, because I feel like something's coming.
before.
Gold is a Peaky. So maybe one episode is not changing my view on him, but maybe he could be a helping hand.
He's a hell of a guy.
If Paul can
Save
love him,
Finn.
you should be able to love him.
Paul didn't
Paul
love
doesn't
him.
love him.
She made the point of saying she was looking for unsavory character.
Yeah.
I'm trying to change him.
He happened to be the guy in the woods.
Yeah, just happened.
Either way,
If it was going to be somebody that day,
I'll give him the season to change my mind, the full season to change my mind on that one. And then the ending there with the conversation with the reporter, and then how those guys were wearing the Peaky hats. At first, I was like thinking, okay, is it a setup because they're walking in?
That's
to
what
see
I
someone?
thought too.
Yeah.
But then when they did that cut back to Tommy, sure seems like Tommy hired a
Because
hired a
it
hit.
could be very useful knowledge for higher ups to say, well, the last person he saw was Tommy, so
Tommy.
obviously Tommy put the hit in. So that's why I was thinking maybe it wasn't him. But
If they didn't do that cut back to Tommy with that look, I would have thought
it was
pure
somebody
setup.
else.
But they
Yeah.
did that cut back. So right there tells me that that's Stephen Knight and crew saying, hey guys, look at the devil in disguise here.
yeah.
Do we think this just hit me right now? Do we think the the gentleman who owes him the $50,000, because Tommy's like, I've got stuff on you. Do you think the gentleman who owed him the money?
He has all the photos in a safe, and I don't think Tommy's the only one that has those photos.
Well, I'm wondering. No. I'm wondering if the guy who that owes Tommy $50,000 is the one who had the reporter go there to kind of say, well, we've got dirt on you too, Tommy. And now Tommy's gonna be like, okay. This is what happens. This is what happens when you try to mess with me.
I don't think that. See, I think that the guy that Tommy owes, or that owes Tommy the money, the guy from the House of Lords, I don't think he swims in those ponds, so to speak. I think he's above.
Otherwise.
No. I mean, he does that, but he doesn't get his hands dirty in the way of hiring hits. They have
I'm saying
lower
I'm
people
saying
that
he,
do that.
I'm not saying he.
I don't think you're saying he's trying to blackmail Tommy.
I'm saying the guy. So Tommy says to that guy.
Yeah, he wants him to know, hey, I can get you too. And so
he wanted Tommy to know, hey, there's dirt on all of us. There's background dirt on all of us. I'm not suggesting that he would have hired the hit. I'm suggesting he sent the reporter there.
Yeah, to try to rattle his cage.
Try to rattle Tommy's cage and be like, hey, we know stuff about you too. So
well, and he made that I thought he was kind of hinting towards that anyways, because he said, how does a guy like you get here? So I think he already knows his background.
Well, because they both started in the same place. They were both kind of back when that guy goes back to season 1, the reporter with Tommy, as far as knowing everything that happens.
Right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with him too. Yeah.
So
So
he's the one who asked him how he got to where he's at.
Right.
A guy like
but I was answering your question about the reporter before Dave jumped in with his about this guy. Yeah, with challenging Tommy essentially.
Yeah. Either way, I still think it's Tommy, but I would not be surprised if it was someone that tried to do some kind of setup. But right now, I can't think that all the way through because it doesn't make sense.
Dumped over his wine.
Or maybe he just wants to break away from his past, and this is another.
Well, that was one technically kind of loose end.
Well,
but
you bring up the idea, answer of Tommy wanted to break away from his past. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to get to it before we go too long. If you're still here, thank you for that. But when Tommy was giving that speech about the horse, it was like he was talking about himself. Like if you go back and listen to what Tommy was saying,
he said he can't control the reins. Well, that's
he was talking about the horse. Essentially, the quick thing I got out of it was, the horse was too wild to be controlled. It couldn't be in a strict setting of you are going to run this race, you're going to do 4 laps, and then you're done, and that's it, and that's how it's going to work. A very rigid, strict program. Tommy can't do that.
But he also said the horse it couldn't just sit in the pasture either.
Yeah, it couldn't. Just like Tommy, we saw Tommy couldn't even go on vacation without going nuts. I thought that was really good. And then the last thing I wanted to hit on was the speech that Tommy did in the House of Lords or whatever, talking about all the people who made the bets on Wall Street essentially, and then wanted to essentially be bailed out. I think that was a little nod for us viewers who maybe if you were feeling a little bit lost about what was going on and what was happening with the Great Depression, I think that speech was there to help us understand. It was like, look, it was just like 2008 all over again. A bunch of people lost a bunch of money and wanted the common folk, i.e. the taxpayers, to bail them out of their bad decisions and to save their ass. And I just really like how Tommy had that in there, kind of as like a parallel of then and now to help the viewer understand. I thought that was brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one thing that caught my mind too, now that we talked about the horses, is after he did what he did to the horse and then he put it up to his head. So that to me shows us still that,
he's battling demons.
He's still battling, and he always forever will be. Now, I think that's pretty obvious, right? Because each season they've given us something. Obviously, it was great to see Grace back in here. So when Arthur was like, "Oh, you're going to be by yourself to think, Tom," or however he said that.
Yeah.
He always has Grace, which is
he said he's never alone.
Yeah, he's never alone. And then of course the yelling right there. That to me felt like that was the last straw of what does it take for somebody to fucking listen to me. So I think now I just want to see a conversation between him and Finn and see how that's going to go, because that right there, I think now he is basically. We thought he was closing off people before and telling them when they need to know. I think we're going to see even more of Tommy being like, fuck you, I'm not saying anything, but this is when I need you to know, this is how it's going to be done, A, B, and C. And if you stray away from A, B, and C, I'm not saying he's going to kill his family, but something could happen.
Yeah,
They could die or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's the brilliance of this first episode. They put, like I said, they put so many different irons in the fire of so many things happening with so many different characters. You're like, all right, we got a season all ready to go here.
And I don't think maybe somebody did say it too, that gentleman after Tommy gave that speech in front of the that room.
Yeah, in the House of Lords.
Yeah, the House of Lords.
The guy that wanted to talk to him.
Yeah, so that one I'm curious too, by the way.
Well, Oswald Mosley.
Yeah, who's Mosley?
Yeah, they gave him a little too much.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll see him again.
Trust that mustache that he had. It was way too well groomed.
Well, what a great start to season 5. This show obviously never disappoints. Hopefully, we never disappoint you, and you've entertained by us as well. So for Appleton Oak, Diamond Dave, that's Mason Quinn. I'm of course Answer. We'll catch you on the next one, pals.